Good afternoon, dear friends. My name is I am an attorney, and today we'll talk about the legal procedure for marrying a foreigner national in Russia. So I will go according to the plan. How long it will take to get married and if it's possible to shorten this period. List of documents required to marry in Russia. And third, consequences of marriage in Russian, pros and cons. So let's get it started. First of all, know that there are no obstacles to marriage between a Russian citizen and a foreigner from any country. This is expressly permitted by the Family Code of Russia, and marriage can be performed in registry offices known as ZAGS at Russia, in diplomatic and consular bodies, or in authorities of foreign state. Article number 11 of the Family Code establishes a one-month period from the date of applying for marriage until its state registration. The head of the registry office can change this period both upwards and downwards up to the marriage registration on the very day of filing for it. The only who's legally authorized to make a decision on changing the term for the state registration of the marriage is the head of the registry office. No other officials of ZAGS have the right to resolve such issue. We are often asked under what reason it is possible to change the month period for marriage. So if we look at the Family Code, we'll see its provisions don't establish a specific list of reasons that may serve as a basis for reducing of the increasing this period. In paragraph 1 of article number 11 of the Family Code, they're talking only about the validity of such reasons. At the same time, as it seems most correct, the degree of validity of the reasons is determined for each specific cases individually, taking into account the interests of the persons who applied for marriage. If we turn to practice, we can see cases when ZAGS offices recognized as a good reason the fact that those who are getting married have long been in actual marital relations. Various documents can be used as evidence: child birth certificate, commercial service payment receipts, if they contain their data, various contracts such as employment credit, in which one of them acted as a borrower and the other as a co-borrower, etc. As valid reasons for changing the term for state registration of marriage, we can also mention the following: the bride's pregnancy, a joint child's birth, the immediate threat to the health or life of one of the parties, conscription of the groom for urgent military services, etc. Thus, it can be noted that good reasons and special circumstances are evaluative. What documents are needed to marry a foreigner in Russia? The list of documents for marriage with the foreigner is not significantly different. In addition to a mutual application in form number 7, from the couple you must submit, first of all, its passport of Russian citizen, foreigner's passport with a notarized translation, a certificate from authorized body of a foreign state stating that the foreigner doesn't have a valid marriage, or about its dissolution. You don't need to provide temporary or permanent residence permit to the registry office. The marriage registration fee is 350 rubles. A marriage certificate is issued in a standard form. What can be said about the state registration place? Of course, these are the registry offices, but there are exceptions. As grounds for registering a marriage outside ZAGS, the law allows any valid reasons that make it impossible for both or one of the persons entering into marriage to arrive at the place of marriage state registration, including a serious illness. In such cases, state registration of marriage may take place in a medical or other organizations where the person or persons going to marry are or at home. They must apply for marriage with a request for registration outside the registry office. In our practice, we are often asked questions about the reasons that make marriage impossible. These include undissolved registered marriage of one for the persons going to get married, when persons who are close relatives to each other file for marriage, that is, relatives in a direct ascending and descending line, parents and children, grandmothers, grandfathers, grandchildren. full and half-blooded having a common father or mother, brothers or sisters. When adoptive parents and adoptive children file for marriage. Also, when persons of which at least once been recognized by the court as incapable due to a mental disorder file for marriage. Thus, one who's getting married must provide various kinds of documents. It's of course divorce certificate or death certificate of the deceased spouse, court decision that has entered into legal force to recognize the marriage as invalid, or certificate from a registry office confirming the state registration of above events. Let's say, what are the advantages of registering a marriage for a foreign national? You can obtain a temporary residence permit and a permanent residence permit without complying with quotas. This right appears immediately after marriage registration. You can obtain also citizenship of the Russia Federation after 3 years. If a foreign has a RVP or NVG, of this no marriage the period for applying for citizenship in 5 years. Automatic assignment of Russian citizenship to children born from the marriage. But one shouldn't forget the fact that if a marriage is registered only to get Russian citizenship, it may be recognized as a fake. But it's quite difficult to do this, because one must prove there are no family relations and the spouse reside separately from each other. What are disadvantages of registering a marriage between a Russian and a foreign? Include the obligations to obtain a temporary residency and permanent residency in Russia. Without such permission, a foreign will be able to stay in the country only on the basis of visa. Summing up the above information, I want to say that you can always contact us if you are denied state registration of marriage in Russia, and we can always handle this case both in the registry office and in a court. Subscribe to our channel and follow us. Thank you for your attention. Bye.